Welcome to Rip the Mask Off. So here's another video. Toxic people will feign familiarity. What does this look like? Well, oftentimes the toxic person doesn't really know you. If they're in a family situation or in a friendship dynamic or even at work, they don't know you. They construct an image that they wish to portray onto you and impose onto you, but they don't know you. How do you know this? Because they don't really ask about you. They're quick to make judgments about you. And then based on that, they typecast you into a character that is not even you. And the traits that they typecast you with are often negative projections that reflect the toxic person or persons, because we can't forget they're useful idiots that join in. Now, how does this look like in further detail? Especially during a smear campaign, you're going to have a whole bunch of unfamiliar faces coming towards you all of a sudden, trying to get to know you. They'll only spend maybe less than a minute because they know what their mission is. Their mission is to aid the toxic person or persons in spreading negativity about you. But they can't do this if they don't physically, with optics, show that they somehow know you. You see, they would seem crazy to just talk about you and they've never seen you. So they purposely come to try and make that connection to you. And it's usually a very superficial connection where you and that person will just say very superficial things and the conversation seems cordial, and then all of a sudden the third or fourth time that you see them, they do a complete 180 and talk about you like trash. And they feel that they can do this because, well, they've constructed an image optically by approaching you that somehow they're familiar with you because they've spoken to you 2 times for less than 5 minutes each. I mean, it's crazy making at its finest, really. Then what they'll do is they'll go out and spread all these lies that the toxic person or persons had fed them about you. They will spread them and try to validate them as truths. And the reason why that this comes across as effective is because it's not just coming from the toxic source or sources, it's also coming from other useful idiots. So different face but same message. It's propaganda, really. It's negative propaganda. All designed to harm you, who has done nothing to them. So it may go something like this. And I'll give you some examples of what's happened to me. You know, all of a sudden you have a person, you've only met them for 2 hours, you haven't seen them before. They happen to be at your place of work and they come up to you and they say, "Oh, you don't talk to people." And then they walk by with a smirk, which is really weird. It's like, I don't know you. Why are you saying I don't talk to people? But you see, that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to elicit some kind of reaction to you, from you rather, and it's to not only elicit that reaction, but then put you in a defensive mode to try and explain yourself. Rule of thumb, folks: never explain a lie, because it's a lie. As soon as you start trying to explain and defend yourself, the lie gets validated. So they do this, they being the toxic people and their useful idiots, they do this in order to elicit attention from you and try to get you to defend yourself. They harm you literally, socially, mainly, to try and get you to defend yourself and waste your energy on them because they're that desperate for attention. Another thing that they'll do is they'll turn around and they'll say, no one likes her. No one speaks to her. Or they'll go and they'll try and, in their stalking ways, will try to see if they can dig at something from your past, whatever it is, and then they will create a whole narrative that doesn't even exist. That narrative, they will stay so true to it that you have to grab your own popcorn to sit back and watch how this plays out, because it's nothing short of a screenplay of how they characterized your life, of which they know nothing about. And at the end of the day, you got to realize that they don't believe majority of the things that they're saying about you, because they know that they're lies. They're just doing it to get a reaction out of you. They're doing it to distract you and to frustrate you. So how do you combat this? When toxic people try to make it seem that they're familiar with you, but they're not. When they do things like, oh, she doesn't talk to people, you can remain in silence because you know your reality. Or when they say, no one talks to her, you can again distance yourself. Or you can also respond and say, it's weird. We don't even know each other, yet you're making these types of judgments. Is this how you get by in life? Another thing you can ask is, they're making up stories about people you don't know, such as myself. Is that normal to you? I think that's kind of weird. Start flipping the tables back onto them, because it is weird what they're doing. It's strange, it's odd, it's irrational. You could even ask, why? Why would you say that? Can you provide facts behind your statements? Why would you do that? Another question you can ask them is, why are you so fixated on what you think you know about me? Isn't your life more interesting? So if you feel confident and comfortable enough to say things and push back like that, because they're going to do this in a very public arena to try and humiliate you. So push back if you feel comfortable. Or you can just move in silence and just walk away. But those are some phrases to combat and counter what they do. Whenever they're trying to seem familiar with you, and you know that they're up to no good, at no point should you continue to interact with them. stay far away from them, as far away from them as possible. Because the more that you continue to interact with them, the longer, then the more that it justifies to other people on the outside that somehow you guys know each other, so that when they start passing off even more negative comments, because you know they don't have a stop button, they will continue lying about you and defaming you, that others will think, oh, well, if it wasn't true, why are you still hanging with this person? If you have to, such as a work situation or a family situation, just keep the contact short and sweet and to the point, whether it be about the job or whether it be about the task. Just keep it short and sweet and move on. Again, distance yourself from these toxic people. Protect yourself.